did not want to be. Do not want to be.
People need to see what I see. They need to see.
These are the spiritual as much as physical voyages of the Co-Federation Solar Sun, our starship, planet Earth, restored to heaven on our every earth as our spiritual, genealogical, local, global, universal voyager and shared her and his family community enterprise.
What is this?
Our new millennial year's mission to rediscover and re-understand, sustain, and explore are and all are in fact familiar new worlds
Musicians, Co-Secretary General,
of the tree of birth, life and light throughout the solar
Equinox
system
True
and
Cues
universe, to restore, renew, and sustain our and new life and new sustainable civilizations, past, present, retroactively, and now, rebel, and future, always balancing, to lovingly, genealogically, and locally become and be space-time travelers whenever and where we have interdimensional reality, all in part been before, if also never been before, in alternative space-time lines that are circles, which are of the universal EQ, IQ, and SQ continuum. Balance, combinations of the ever-expanding
when my family
circle
gets tired of being caught in terrible patriarchy, they'll decide to be Co-Secretary General to the
young
They haven't had quite the consequences of their behavior yet, so they're going to find out.
Your hearts,
and when they do, there will be some motivation to discover that they have always been Co-Secretary General and Co-Secretary.
Can, must, and marvelously and miraculously make it so.
In the thunderous flies, she merges, her eyes on fire, the mighty priestess. She is risen from the nativity of Kandra. She is risen from the fires of the earth. She is risen. She is risen.
We are risen.
She is risen. She is risen.
We all are risen via my intercession, however, it's coming a little late, so you'll be in big trouble.
We are risen.
May the circle be open.
Goddess has a sense of humor. You're looking forward to her. If you keep sucking up to Daddy, Daddy's gonna give you plutonium.
Mahamaya, Mahasattva, Mahashakti, Maharati, Mahabhuta, Maheshwarya, Mahavidya, Mahabala, Mahabuddhi, Mahasiddhi, Mahayogeshwareshwari, Mahatantra, Mahamantra, Mahayantra, Mahasana, Mahayagakramaradhya. Om Mahabhairava Pujita, Maheshwara Mahakalpaka Mahatandava Sakshini, Mahakavesha Magishi, Mahatripura Sundari, Chatushshashti Upacharadhya, Chatushshashti Kalamayi, Mahachatushshashti Koti Yogini Ganasevita.
Celestial event. Words. I should have said, oh, so beautiful.
My family is filled with poets, musicians, co-secretary generals, co-secretaries, equinox QQs, as soon as they cooperate to make their circles. If not, they're looking forward to plutonium sandwich.
This day I call the heavens and the earths as witnesses intercessorily for and hopefully and prayerfully not against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose love and life with light, so that you and your children may live. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not our new millennial law.
Okay. I thought it was a
made sunflower for European blacksmith. This is Anna Marie singing Christmas, and I am Cherokee, Cheyenne, Blackfoot, and Algonquin, Dakota, and I am also a French, English, and German. Instituye a Latin. That means we are all related. We embrace the new millennial golden rule that so love all the natives of the sacred ground that is Mother Earth, and all the planets of all the universes.
Welcome to our Starry Hours broadcast. The light is on in my heart for all of you. The light is very dim in the hearts of most of the people of North America. And my own beloved Co-Secretary General Co-Savior family are at very, very minimal light. They are daring. And we have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and water. Now, all of these people that I have been inviting, and I'm a little bit slow on getting the invitations out this round, but I need to say, I got them out over the last 3 years to millions of people. There's nobody who is interested in environmentalism, human justice, democracy, and gender equity who doesn't know about my website. There is nobody. They all know about it. All of the major religious groups know about it. All the people I've grown up with and know as neighbors and friends know about it. Guess what? They're all ignoring it. They're ignoring it because I've been kind to them. They're used to getting slapped and getting booted and following the orders of a dictatorial thump, thump, thump ape. So I now think that they are going to experience the consequences of their delays. We are going to have some little bit of titrating of a little bit of Kali. That's another goddess. Kali says, if you're really, really bad, I'm going to give you a black eye. And that's what is going to happen, because it's actually you yourself who are giving yourselves a black and very possibly soon plutonium eye. You are doing it by not heeding a simple concept, parity, not patriarchy. You've been ignoring that simple difference for a very long time. And you do know that you're ignoring it. A lot of you are ignoring it. You know that you're doing that. You know that you're doing that every day day in, day out, you know, you're ignoring the difference between parity and patriarchy. You've been picking patriarchy in the guise of tokenism and gradualism. You've been clinging to patriarchy, clinging to daddy, and ignoring mama. You've been empowering daddy right and left, and mama can't keep up with it. She really can't, because your favoritism is so extreme that there is no way to keep up with it. So guess what? You get the consequences that you're asking for. You get, yes, you get plutocracy in the pseudo-name of government. And they get Fukushimas, earthquakes, and methane clouds, and maybe a little sulfur in the air from some little beginnings of volcanic eruptions. I am asking Goddess God to titrate this for you. I'm asking Goddess God to titrate this for you because I believe you can get it to choose patriarchy, to choose parity and not patriarchy. I believe you can get it. I believe I primed your pump well enough and you're going to get it. But clearly you're not going to get it unless Goddess God gives you a little hefty push. So now you're going to get some hefty pushes. You've been letting that old guy, Plutonic patriarchy, throw his weight all around. And a lot of you ladies have been saying, Daddy, do in that uppity female that talks about feminism. Do her in. We don't like her. We're on your side, Daddy. We don't like the goddess group. We don't like them. We're going to be your mean girls grown up, and we're going to be your henchwomen. We're going to do your bidding, Daddy. We're going to be minions of the little demon that you've become. We're going to stick it to that nice lady that's been trying to do something for us because she's not patriarchal. So, you think you've got it all figured out. Suck up to the patriarchal sociopath and it's all settled. Go back into the nice sleep of patriarchy that you had since the Council of Nicaea and since the fall of Atlantis with the eruption of Mount Thera, and everything gets hunky-dory again. Everybody falls into line. You have the perfect fatherland. Everybody's obedient, and it's perfect for authoritarian personality disorders. It's perfect. It's a wet dream for women who have no self-esteem of their own and live vicariously through men, and a wet dream for bullies and bystanders, and even for the most willing of victims. But guess what? This little wet dream very quickly has now become and is going to be a nightmare. You're going to get a taste of the nightmare that you've been asking for. Because although I've been trying to organize you from the position of light to elucidate your situation, light has a yin-yang balancer called dark. The dark can come to awaken your light. The dark can get so dark that you say, Mommy, 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 please save us from this dark. You haven't been saying that yet. You haven't been saying parity. You have not been saying the truth of what your situation is. Patriarchal hierarchy to the point of absurdity. You don't want to say that truth because you think you got to suck up to that sociopath so he doesn't yell at you, or he doesn't fire you, or he doesn't do this to you or that to you or whatever. And I have to tell you that you didn't tell the patriarch the truth. I've told him the truth, that there's a difference between parity and patriarchy brings destruction. He didn't want to hear me. You know why he didn't want to hear me? Because so many of the women around him are not telling him the truth. They're telling him their little daddy girls lie. Dear daddy, you control everything. We'll just find a little niche under your controlling auspices. We'll stick it to those other girls and we'll be safe. You're less safe than you could possibly imagine for having done these little deeds of mean girls growing up. We've tried to engage you in a positive way, but you don't want that. You want to avoid discussion of patriarchy and avoid discussion with women at all. You want to hide beneath daddy's dark cloak and let him do all the battling for you while you sit back and watch people of greater light and balance being ignored and being overtaken by thump, 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 the ape. I have to tell you, God is not an ape. God is God looks upon us with great charity, but also he has some limits. I know I have exceeded the limits on time. I have not saved you. You have not come to gather with me, even though I've given you beaucoup invitations, many of you, and explained it to the point where I think a kindergartner could understand it. But it hasn't been enough for you because you have the delusion that daddy is trying to protect you. Daddy is not trying to protect you. Daddy is protecting his own ego. And he's using you, and you're letting him use you, and you're encouraging him to use you to do that because you don't have much of an ego, of balanced ego of your own. You don't have a self. Many of the women of this culture have not developed themselves to the point where they can say, I think this and I think that, and here's why. They don't even want to get and do that. They want to hide and just take an order, do what they're told, take the salary, put the kid in the daycare center. You're in for big trouble, and it's starting. I'd say it's starting right away. I'd like to save you completely with no trouble. I wanted to give you an easy path. It could have been very easy had you been listening, but you have been showing opposition to Mother's wisdom. You've been opposing Mother Earth, and it's your delusion that this Mother Earth, who is actually the universal mother, don't think it's just limited to Mother Earth. That's where you're going wrong. There's a universal mother. She's bigger than Mother Earth. She's the mother of the universe. Get it? And she is not amused with your antics. She's not amused with my delays either. I can tell you that. But she's not amused with your sadistic, sadomasochistic antics at all. And although she's a little upset with me for not being the best co-savior, Couszmic Christ that I want to be, I'm a little bit slow. She also knows that the big problem that's making me slow is your oppositionality, your lack of recognition, and your taking for granted of the gifts that I have been giving you. You've sapped some of my energy because I loved you so much and do love you so much. that I gave and gave and gave. That's the way Mother Nature works. But even Mother Nature gets to a point where she says, look, these people are not getting it at all. They're really acting stupid. They're really acting dumb. They're really crippling themselves and each other on a daily basis just to hold on to daddy and hierarchy and patriarchy. And so Mother is going to, I guarantee you, start giving you some hefty, big duty environmental consequences in the Northern Hemisphere, even before I can organize my antidote for this hypocritical nonsense of International Women's Day when we've been ignoring the Beijing guidelines since 1995. You can't have it both ways. You can't talk about feminism and women and women's rights and equality and then go right back to the same nonsense where your governments are 83 and 90% men, 80%, 90% men. And you have this gorgeous answer in the New Millennial Golden Rule, and you're not even sharing it. You don't. I know who you are. I know how many of you have received it. I know some of you have received it daily and twice daily. And you don't share it at all. Ha, ha, ha. It isn't over until the fat lady laughs. I am hoping that you are spared. I have been too kind and too anxious about you. I love you, so your stupidity has made me very anxious about you. I've been living with a lot of anxiety, fear, and extreme grief for thinking of what you might suffer if you continue going along the way you're going. But it's now clear to me that you want to continue along the way that you're going, that there is a part of you that is willfully choosing it because you do have this alternative and you were given it. And although part of you probably recognizes it's right, the pull of daddy is very, very strong because he's already overempowered. So he can throw his weight around and he can make you think he's being protective of you. I'm protecting you. We need these big brother techniques, and we need the surveillance, and we need all this to protect you against those other bad guys over there who are, oh, by the way, just as patriarchal and exactly the same kind of patriarchy that we are, only slightly different in flavor. Oh, all the big daddies are going to start fighting with each other now because the little women have been acting just like that very, very little. And in many cases, they've been saying to daddy, daddy, you cream those women who want equality. We don't want them around. So guess what? You're going to get your wish. Daddy's going to become super powerful. And guess who's also going to become super powerful? The mother, father, goddess, God of the universe. Boom! You don't think that the father of the universe is an ape, do you? He is not. That is a misperception. You have lots of apes roaming around on the planet who talk about God all the time, so I can see how you could have that misperception. But it isn't the truth. The true God of the universe values the goddess of the universe as equal. The yang that is true values the yin that is true. The yin is announcing herself as the necessary force for resurrection and reparation now and decision-making authority. And you have not been listening to her. So I am warning you very, very simply. It is my belief that between now and probably International Women's Day, March 8th, which is really global, should be global and planetary Women's Day. And every day should be. And every day should be global and planetary youth, female and male's day. And then in a little while, we can also give it back and make every day males older men's days too, when they've learned their little lesson. But until then, you know, I feel like I didn't keep up with this. I didn't move fast enough. I didn't move fast enough. But yin and yang is very paradoxical. Yin and yang is always there, even if you kind of fall down on the job a little bit. As long as you know what the job is, yin and yang gives you a little leeway. You know what the job is that needs to be done, and you've been generally doing it. If yin and yang thinks that you don't, yin and yang thinks you don't know what the job is, and you think you're just supposed to practice yang, then they're going to cream you. Or a caricature of yin that is, oh, Daddy, we love to be your underlings. We're so happy to be your little women. That is not yin. That is just immature. That's not yin. It's not feminine to be a little baby girl when you need to be an adult because you didn't bother to heal your own inner baby girl and appreciate her. It's not going to work, folks. And some of the people that I love the most are about ready to get creamed hard. I'm praying to the Mother, Father, Goddess, God that it be an epiphany for them and not a total death and loss. My timing has been poor. I have kind of enabled people. You know, when people talk about families of alcoholism, often the other members of the family fear for the lives of the alcoholic. And so they enable that person a little bit because they don't want them to die. And so they're so anxious that in order for them to not die, they'll go along with some of their addictive behavior. As long as it's within a certain range, they'll go along with a little bit. And I've been doing that because I love you. And it's hard to watch you dancing at the edge of nowhere the way you're doing and not feel like I want to reach out to you, rescue you, save you. I am a co-savior, but I have come to the recognition that a first co-savior cannot do all the work by herself. She will fall behind, especially if she did initially, as I did, not knowing who I was. I have to give that as a given. I did not know who I was, and the earlier part of my life, it did not live quite up to the level of what a co-savior, co-secretary general, a true cosmic Christ does. I was too embedded in patriarchy, and like so many women, I thought my great goal was to get married and have a baby. I was socialized to believe that. All of my generations had socialized me to believe that, and I acted upon that, negating what was much more important, the gathering of women, not recognizing the imperative of it. And so now I'm trying to do it after the fact. Maybe it is too late. I don't know. But it's still the right thing. It remains the right thing, the gathering of women and the gathering of the youth. It's always going to be the right thing until it happens. If it never happens, then there will be no right things. And guess what? There will be nothings. Because the horrors that you are inviting are so extreme that there won't be anything for a long time. I mean, it can't go on. Even if the downhill is slow and torturous, it's going to be real bumpy. It's going to be really rotten. I mean, bad. You don't get how bad it's going to be. You're not going to be able to hide in your penthouse or even in your underground sanctuary for the government officials who caused this animal farm. They're not going to be safe either because Mother Earth is entirely throughout the earth. She's not just on the surface. They're not going to be safe there. Ain't nobody going to be safe. Just keep practicing patriarchy and pretend you don't know you're doing it. Pretend it's some kind of aberrant little lady who mentions those words. Yeah. Keep pretending. Pretend yourself right into an earthquake, right into Fukushima. I hope so. And I hope it's not so bad that you can't recover from it. I hope it isn't the Chernobyl level. I hope it's more the Fukushima or the 3 Mile Island level. But it's going to scare you, and you are doing it to yourselves. You are doing it to yourselves. You have compromised the safety of very precious children in this generation. You yourselves, the women, were and are very precious, but you have given away your goddesshood. You sold it for a few shekels and the nonsense about abortion, when you ignored representation and balance of love and work and the protection of Mother Nature. You took a very strange path for very complex reasons that have something to do with me and my own family, but not only us, because we were embedded in the same lies that other people were getting. So you can't, it's very difficult to affix blame in a patriarchal system, because everybody's practicing patriarchy unless they're naming the game. The people who name the game and who are saying we got to stop this, no, we don't want to do it, and we don't want to do it anymore, and that means we have to have parity in government now, yesterday, and regard what has happened in the past as bogus, as not something to be venerated. Oh, the founding fathers, the founding fuckers, the founding failures. The church fathers. They're more like the cannibal fathers. They're eating their own children in the name of sanctimonious religion. They give themselves the right to kill other people. That's nowhere in any major tradition. They don't have that right. Nobody has that right. You give yourselves the right to interfere with the communications of women, to make women hide and run in fear. That's your right? That's your right, Mr. Ape? Oh. I doubt it. I don't think you're going to succeed. I think your little game is up. If it isn't, then I can tell you something. Most likely, I'm going to be removed from this planet, and you'll play your game until you're all dead. So I don't know which is going to be for sure. But I know that I am Astrea, the goddess to bring the golden age. And I am first and last close with Christ. And if I can't find even a few serious apostles after all I've given to you, then this planet is going to be rocking and rolling with disaster. Don't delude yourself about election primaries and crap like that. That isn't going to continue. You don't have elections. You've had selections for thousands of years. You have to wake up now, or your future is horrific. I keep in touch with those that I love most deeply because they were the charge and the hope of my great-grandmothers and our parents. I hope for them, but I'm quite clear to them that they're sitting on a powder keg, and it's about ready to go off. And it's called Mother Earth, and she's ready to, whoa. So I would suggest to you that you go to 5050now.wordpress.com and you make the New Millennial Golden Rule your own, that you put on your Co-Secretary General, Co-Savior buttons, that you share the solar energy kits, and that you do what I have asked you to do for 3 years. even though I was late in asking you, and I should have asked you 35 years ago. You had 3 years of wisdom. You've been, throwing it to the wind. So, time is really up. I do what I can on your behalf, but I make it clear to you, and I've been making clear to you, that the little bit extras that I give you as incentive or clarification or different models or assisting people maybe who could help you are not an excuse for your own adoption of the new millennial golden rule and sharing it with consistency and with integrity. And if you can't, I know what's going to happen to you. You're going to have those disasters. And I hope that God will allow me to continue to broadcast here as your emergency response system, the real one. Not the phony FEMA, but the real emergency response system, which is the choice of parity instead of patriarchy. Whatever your personal proclivities are, whatever your narrowed vision is, it will not be enough to keep from you the knowledge of the disasters that are beginning to happen around you. So this has been a little bit of a grace period. You've had a grace period. I think your grace period, you always have my grace love, but I think your grace period without mishap is pretty much coming to an end in North America. And North America is going to be the site of some heavy duty, even worse environmental catastrophes than Katrina and Sandy and the forest fires in the West and the methane clouds, even worse now. You've been asking for it because you keep tolerating male-dominated government and male-dominated media. You keep asking for it and you're going to get it. So then come back to me. I will still love you. I'll come back to me with open arms. I don't intend to abandon you. I have to be I'm confused as to how not to enable you, but give you support. It's a little bit confusing because I want to give you enough yin so that you live and don't die altogether. But I also know that you are taking advantage of that yin and clinging to the yang. You're clinging to patriarchy. And you're using the energy of the yin to suck up to the yang. That's going to really fall apart real soon. So I love you. Go to 5050now.wordpress.com. Make the new millennial golden rule your own. Do the 11 steps. Read the sermon of Congress's grassroots on the sermon. We all have a dream to make reality now. Read the section under the grassroots Congresses, courts, and assemblies about among the representatives, you. See your name that you have not been living up to your job as Co-Secretary General with. See it. It's right there. All you people that I've written on the various religious communities, you know you got these emails. You know you did. You got them. I'm not working so hard anymore. I'm going to get done what I get done for you as soon as I can. I missed some optimal dates. We're going to have some loss here. But I'm not going away. And I don't believe world saving has to be absolutely perfect. I believe it just has to be with love and with care and with thought. And I may have made some mishap moves in the last few days because the situation is so insane. I don't really know how to handle it as an adult human being. It's too bizarre. How many times I say the same things over and over and over to people, and they do the same opposite dance of disaster. I have a lot of older people who say, we don't care. We're old, we're dying, we don't care. We don't care about our next generations. We don't care. Well, you know that you deny yourself eternal life. We'll try to bring you back from the other side after you've passed. I will try. You are precious, and we've let you know that. You've been included in the ceremonies. We've let you know that. But if you don't stand up for yourself and your own children and nieces and nephews, God is watching, sees what you've done and what you don't do, and the pettiness of your non-doing as much as you're doing. So And I don't think I'm being hypocritical for myself. I just sometimes don't know how to handle the complex pretzel of the knots that you have tied. I love you all. You know I do. And if any of you come toward me, you'll be taken back with open arms. But you have to say, we're choosing parity, not patriarchy. Retroactively, we're traveling back in time with our thought process. We're using time traveling with common sense. And time traveling is Atlantis risen. And we're going to do that. And then you're going to be on Easy Street and have a great time. So I'm going to give you the screen share. And we'll see you in the early hours tomorrow. Yeah, what is it a problem? Is it my problem that they did something in Co-Secretary General today that shows that they're not? Is it my problem? I guess it's all our problem. I mean, there is no I and we. We're all connected. But it's obviously much more